All right, you need to take this seriously. And the reason I say that is because I've seen this change my life, but I've also seen this impact others who have never traded before in their life. Now, what I'm going to show you guys today is essentially the new evolution of the trading industry. And people are like, oh, well, prop firms have been around for a long time. But I'm going to explain something. So what's happening now in this industry is that there's a lot of competition, right? And when there's a lot of competition in any industry, essentially what's happening now is that all these firms are competing. It's like basically a race to the bottom to whoever has the best rules, the highest payout split, so the highest profit share for their traders, and also the cheapest pricing. So there has never been a better time to go all in on prop firm trading, okay, or what I call profit partnering, which is partnering with prop firms, using their capital to trade with. They take on the trading risk, and we keep 80 to 90% on the profit, right? Now, what I'm going to show you guys today is just one example. You know, I've made literally hundreds and hundreds of trades with prop firms. I'm one of the top earners in the world on Breakout. I think number 3 in the world of total earnings. And I'm going to show you guys what's possible. So you can see here at 9:50 a.m. today, I entered 2 positions. So one was at 9:04, which was the first position I took for 6 Bitcoin. And then the second position I entered was at 9:50. And I closed both of those trades at 11:14, which is about a 2-hour period, for a total of, so 4 plus 2, that's $6,590, let's say. Okay, or $6,600 total, USD, right? Now, if I take you guys to this platform and I show you guys how this actually works. So this is the account. I get to keep 80% of that profit. So total profit today was $6,361. I get to keep 80% of this number right here, which is a $5,000 payment to me. Okay, that's the profit that I get to keep personally. Now, the reason I say that you guys should go all in on this is because trading as a skill is not hard to learn. Okay, but trading as a beginner when you're using your own capital is extremely difficult, because when you're using your own money, when you're using your own capital, you're emotional, right? Every single trade could affect your financial position. But with prop firm trading, the worst case scenario for you when you're starting out is the evaluation cost. Okay, so basically I'm going to draw out how these firms work in a really simple way. So you've got your prop firms, right? And these prop firms offer what they call an evaluation. Okay, and basically on this evaluation is where you need to prove to them that you can actually trade following their rules and pass their simple evaluation. Typically on an evaluation, you need to make a 10% profit with the capital that they provide. Now, in that evaluation process, all of the money they provide you is simulated. It's dummy capital, it's not real money. So the financial firm, they're not taking on any real risk at that point. Okay, so you need to prove to them that on that fake money that you can create a 10% profit on that account. Typically, some firms will give you 5% drawdown daily, meaning you could lose 5% of that account in a day. If you lose more than 5% that day, you breach the account, okay? Meaning you would have to start back at the evaluation stage, right, and buy another challenge. That's essentially how these firms operate, okay? So they're offering people the opportunity to qualify for these accounts, but you have to trade within these simple rules, okay? So let's just say there's a 5% daily drawdown, okay? So you get 5% risk per day that you can take, and then let's just say you get a 10% max drawdown, okay? So let's just say you can trade within these guidelines here, which are really, really simple. Obviously, there's a lot of firms out there who have huge amounts of rules, and they sort of try to stack all these rules on top of your trading. But the firms that we use, the firms that we operate on, they have really simple rules, okay? And that's how you make money as a prop firm trader. You need to know the ins and outs of the industry and know who to work with, who to partner with. So a 10% profit is the target you need to make. If you can hit that profit target without losing 5% in a day or 10% overall from the starting balance. So let's just use an $100,000 account as an example. So let's just say you went to the prop firm, okay, and you bought a $100,000 evaluation, okay? So let's just say it's a $100,000 evaluation, okay? Each firm has different pricing for the different capital size that you want to qualify for. So if you were qualifying for an $100,000 account, it's obviously going to be more expensive for you to buy that than a $10,000 or $5,000 account, okay, of course. So let's just use the the rules here, 10% profit, 5% daily drawdown, and 10% max drawdown. So I'm going to basically explain now. Let's say you had $100,000 of capital from the firm and you're on the evaluation stage. You can lose $5,000 of that per day, okay, without any personal trading liability, okay, so you don't take on any personal risk. Like I said, the only risk you're taking, guys, is the initial cost for the evaluation at all times. And then your max drawdown means you can lose $10,000 total. So at any point, if you drop that $100,000 account to $90,000 or below, you have to start back at the evaluation stage again, right? So you lose that evaluation here, this one will get voided, and you have to go back and purchase another challenge, right? Because you need to prove to them again that you can actually pass that stage. Now, let's just say all good and well, and you hit the $10,000 profit target. So let's just say you need to make 10% on the account. 10% of $100,000 is $10,000 of profit, right? Let's just say we go into the green, $10,000. What's going to happen at this point is that this firm is basically going to upgrade you to what they call a funded account. Now, a funded account has the exact same rules in terms of drawdown, but there's no profit target, right? So the profit is uncapped on that account. Now, on that account, you're still going to have, like I said, the 5% daily drawdown, okay, and 10% max drawdown, okay? But the catch here now is that you can actually make money on this account, right? You can make real money rewards trading that capital. So let's just say you made a $10,000 profit on the funded account, okay, and you did exactly what you did on the evaluation stage. You've got a $10,000 profit. You would be able to keep 80% of that $10,000, okay, which means you're walking away with an $8,000 payout for yourself. Now, this method here is simple, but the thing that a lot of people aren't going all in on is they're worried about what firm should I use. They're worried about what evaluation should I choose. You know, how do I get started with prop firms? This isn't going to matter unless you go all in on learning how to trade, guys. Because if you can't actually trade effectively with a good strategy, good risk management, and actually pick the right trades, you're not going to be able to pass these evaluations and let alone make consistent payouts, right? So essentially, the reason for this video is to show you guys that this business model is real. This business model is very lucrative, but people focus on the wrong thing. They're focused on, Nick, what firm do you use? How do I start my first challenge? It's like, dude, you need to learn the skill set of trading. Okay, you need to go all in on that for the next 3 to 6 months and actually go into the trenches, learn how to trade, focus on trading. And then the biggest thing here is that you're not going to have to trade your own capital and you can jump straight to larger amounts of capital, because we all know it takes money to make money. The more money that you have, the more you're going to be able to make, okay? And when you're not dealing with that trading risk as if like you were trading on a personal account where you put your own money in, when you're not dealing with that emotional side of trading, you're going to be able to trade clear. You're not going to have that emotional roller coaster every time that you're taking a trade, okay? So what I'm going to show you guys is the recent payout. So you guys can see it's the 11th of June at 12:25 p.m. right now. On the 9th of June, I made a payout of $4,387. On the 9th, the same day, $1,550. On the 8th, $1,366. On the 8th, $1,796. On the 5th, $5,000. On the 25th, the month before, $2,300. On the 12th, $3,883. So you can see these are consistent payouts that I'm making from these firms. But the number one thing here, and what I'll end this video on, is that you guys need to stop worrying about the firm, you know, the prop firms. You need to worry about, how do I get good enough as a trader in the quickest time possible so that when I get to the stage of actually partnering with these firms, I can actually make money, right? And that's exactly what I teach my students. I'm like, guys, the prop firm stuff's exciting. I get it, right? That's the end goal of what we're doing here. But essentially, you need to go all in on trading first. You need to learn the skill, be around people who know what they're doing, you know, be mentored by someone. It doesn't have to be me. I don't really give a shit if you join me or not. But what we do is we give you guys the foundations, the skill set, so that you know exactly what you're doing with these firms, so that when you go to actually purchase your first evaluation, right, you have a high chance of passing and actually getting to the payout stage, right? Because this industry is built off glamour. It's built off excitement, right? $100,000 I can trade with. So a beginner mindset is they want to jump straight to the evaluation stage without actually learning the real core element of trading first, right? The real skill that's actually going to get you to that stage where you can make a payout. So if you've watched any of my videos before, if you've watched any of my ads online, you'll know the first thing that you need to do is actually learn how to trade. Okay, learn the skill, and then you can get to the part where you can make money with these firms. I hope that helps a lot, guys. Have a good day.